Okay, you're welcome back again to our channel. Today we are going to go straight to physics. We'll talk about the fundamentals of physics. What is physics? Why study physics? And what are some of the branches of physics that you need to know? And then we're also going to talk about the standards and units that are in physics, right? So I'm going to quickly go through this. This is what we intend to achieve in this lesson. So number one, what is physics? There is no way I can be able to define physics without telling you about the root word or how it is being derived. So, physics is derived from the Greek word which we call physics. And the meaning of that word, physics, is the knowledge of nature. The knowledge of nature. So, it means that physics is a science that deals with the relationship between matter and energy and their interaction, the relationship between matter and energy and their interaction. Matter is popularly said to be anything, any material substance that has mass and that can occupy space. Energy is said to be the ability or the capacity or capability to do work. Meaning that if we are referring to the interaction between these two, it means we are talking about any material substance, and then we look at the energy it possesses and how that energy can be made to put to work. So this is the foundation. This is what physics is all about. And when you look at it from that standpoint, you understand that almost anything you can think of that exists in the universe has an explanation from physics, because we're talking about matter. Now, a scientist that studies or specializes in the field of physics is referred to as a physicist. So having given us this background, it is now important for us to look at why do we study physics? What are some of the reasons why we study physics? So number one, physics is the most fundamental of all the sciences. Now you're going to understand why physics is the most fundamental amongst all the sciences. It is also very fundamental because scientists of all disciplines, they make use of the ideas of physics. Whether you're a chemist, whether you're a biologist, or what have you, once you are a scientist, no matter your discipline, you make use of the ideas of physics. Why do I say this? It is so because the principles of physics play an essential role in the scientific quest to understand how human activities affect the atmosphere, and of course it affects oceans, and of course it also affects the search for alternative sources of energy. Of course, you know that there are several sources of energy that exist now. So it will also be worthy of note to say that physics is the foundation of all engineering and technology. Of course, nobody can answer an engineer, right, without having to major in physics. So what that means is that no engineer could design any kind of practical device without first understanding the basic principles that are involved. And these principles are domiciled in physics. So no engineer could design a DVD player, for example. No engineer can design a laptop. No engineer can design a television, for example, without first understanding the basic laws of physics. But most importantly for me, the study of physics is an adventure. Why is it an adventure? It's an adventure because you will find it challenging sometimes. Of course, it can be frustrating sometimes. Of course, it can be painful occasionally, but it's often richly rewarding and satisfying. It is going to appeal to your sense of beauty and as well to your rational intelligence. So physics is just it's one of the basic sciences that anyone would want to venture into. You see. Now, it is so because our present understanding of the physical world has been built on the foundations that are led by scientific giants such as the ones you know their name, the Galileo Galilei, the Newton, the Maxwell, the Einsteins, and all of them. And their influence has extended far beyond science, to affect the way in which we live and also the way we think, you see. So there are so many reasons why we study physics. But for me, these are the essential reasons why I feel like you should venture into physics. So I'll proceed to the next, which is what are some of the units, the standards that we have in physics. The standards in physics, right? So number one, I'm going to start by talking about the mass, right? So the mass is the quantity of matter or material substance, and the standard of mass is the kilogram. There are other units of measurement, all right, like the gram, like the ton, like the pound, but the standard for measuring mass is the kilogram. And the kilogram is defined as the mass of a particular cylinder of platinum iridium alloy, right? So outside of that, I'm going to still talk about the length, right? The length is also a physical quantity, right? That tells us about the extent of space or distance that is extended. And it's the standard for measurement is in meters. Just like we have in kilogram, we also have other standards, other units for measuring length that is not meter. Okay, but the standard for measuring length is the meter. So we have the centimeter, the decimeter, and all of those, but the standard is meter, and the meter is defined as the distance that light travels in a vacuum in this value of second. And finally, I'm going to be talking about time. Now, I chose these three because these are the basic fundamental quantities. Now, there are so many other quantities. If I want to come and be telling you about their standard measurement, it will take a long time. So these are the basic fundamental quantities. So we have time. Time is just that in which events are distinguishable with reference to before or after. And the standard measurement for time is in seconds. And second is defined as the time required for these various cycles of microwave radiation. So you can see that in physics we give standard measurements, right? It is internationally agreed. We call it the SI units, right? System International Units. It is standard for all form of measurement. As far as you talk about time, second. As far as you talk about length, you talk about meter. As far as you talk about mass, we refer to kilogram. So now, what are the different branches of physics? I'm going to run it through, right, so that you could see the vastness of physics, and as someone that wants to do physics, so that you could see the different branches and begin to make up your mind as to the area of physics that you're going to pitch your tent. Number one, I have what we call the classical physics. Now, this classical physics primarily deals with different laws of motion and, of course, gravitation, right? And this classical physics is conceptualized by Sir Isaac Newton and the rest, right? It's majorly concerned with matter and energy, right? It's majorly concerned with matter and energy. Secondly, modern physics. This modern physics is centered around the two theories of relativity and quantum mechanics, and the study of Albert Einstein and Max Planck, gives us a background. I'm just going to give you just a summary of this. We are going to take a detailed study of this in our subsequent classes, right? And then the next one is what we refer to as nuclear or atomic physics. Now, nuclear physics is actually a branch of physics that is concerned with the constituents, the structure, the behavior, and interactions of atomic nuclei, right? But atomic physics is concerned with the composition of the atom apart from the nucleus. So it means that atomic physics is primarily concerned with the studying and understanding the behavior of electrons in the shells around the nucleus. So I'm going to go straight to the next, which is geophysics. This aspect of physics gives us a hindsight as to the planetary bodies and their behavior. And then apart from that, we have biophysics, And then we also have mechanics. Of course, this is one of the branches of physics that focuses on the movement and motion of physical objects under a force, and of course when at rest as well. And then we have the acoustics. The acoustics is a branch of physics that studies sounds. And then we also have another branch of physics we refer to as optics, right? It is a significant science branch of physics that studies light and of course its properties. And finally, we have this other branch of physics referred to as the thermodynamics. Thermodynamics is a branch of physics concerned with heat and other forms of energy. What happens is that it focuses on the transfer of energy from one form to another. So these are some of the branches of physics that we have, although we have one that is called the astrophysics. Astrophysics is an important branch of physics which talks about the space science and all the things that happens around celestial objects, right? And then how it is related to physics. So the study of astronomy and all of those is concerned, is all we talk about under astrophysics. So these are all the branches of physics we have, and then in our subsequent editions we are going to be taking time to digest all of these one after the other and make recommendations as to how that you could be able to excel in studying these areas of physics. So we believe that this has been of help to you. So please do well to subscribe to our channel and stay tuned, because there are other subsequent videos that are going to be coming to back up this so that you can have a full understanding. Thank you for staying in. God bless you.